Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 12 of Conversations with Christal. And I am so excited for today's guest. We have a bit of history, and we met almost 2 years ago now in another coaching program. So remember, I practice what I preach. I totally believe in coaching. And one thing that I love about my story with Emily, who I'm going to introduce here, is we actually met when I was pitching someone that she used to work with. And somehow, it's a small world. We ended up being reconnecting and then ultimately working together and collaborating with one another. So I am so excited to introduce Emily Reagan with Unicorn VA. Emily, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I chuckle so much thinking about how we connected in email. And I remember stalking you out on LinkedIn, being like, what is this girl up to? And now here we are. We're like internet friends.
There you go. Isn't that so funny how you can have these, really great and fun relationships and really collaborative? Like I mean, believe us when we say we really have worked together and supporting each other's businesses and have never met in person. Not one day.
And I just remember being so drawn to you. And I'm not trying to butter you up because I'm on your podcast, but I remember watching your pitch, being like, this lady has something. And your voice, of course, I always talk about your gorgeous voice, but I
Thank
was like
you.
just drawn to you. And it's so funny that even happened even longer ago. I don't even know when, maybe like 4 years ago.
Maybe it was actually initially. Yeah, you're right, because that makes more sense because then we were officially connected about 2 years ago. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're right about that.
Yeah, but that's a good story of like planting a seed and that first
Yes.
impression paying off, and that carried with me. And yeah,
Yes.
fun
Yeah.
story.
I know. I love that. Well, I want you to take a moment just to kind of introduce yourself because one thing that always stood out to me about you, you're a proud military spouse. And one reason that you started your business that I know of is because you were basically in a community of other military wives, primarily, who basically they were overeducated, like you were saying, and they were doing like jobs that weren't quite fulfilling. And you're like, I know that I can help them have a flexible schedule, work from home, doing something that can really challenge them and like brighten their days. Like, does that resonate?
Yes,
Okay.
hands down. And I wish I had the stats for you, but in general, military spouses are underemployed. And I know a lot of
Mm,
spouses, a good percentage, I want to say it was like above 40% have advanced degrees. And
yes.
you think about it, they're
Wow.
always moving. And, no matter what rank the spouse is, and I am going to primarily talk because most of the spouses are women, like 92% are women.
Yes.
So I am going to go ahead and just go with that. But
Yes.
so many of us have this advanced education, but then are not able to really establish a career because we move
Mhm.
so much. So
Yes.
I found this niche freelancing, which was
Hmm.
awesome because I have had a zillion gazillion jobs related to PR and journalism and communications and marketing. And I fell into freelancing, and it has been such a game changer for me as a
Hmm.
mother and as a woman. And I
Yeah.
had this aha moment, excuse me, where I'm like, I can teach my friends online marketing. This isn't rocket science. You don't need
Yeah.
a degree to do this. And
Right.
that's how my business and my course got started, was just trying to help them. And for so many people, they hadn't worked in a while because they're mothers,
Mm.
right? We've taken breaks to
Yes.
have babies. The
Yes.
military thing is very passionate for me because we move all the time. I mean, I've moved 11 times. I think I was
Wow.
counting 11 and 18 years. So you do the math on that. I'd never had a job longer than 18 months. I
Wow.
know. And it's not that I wasn't loyal or I was, job hopping. It was just the nature of the beast and the
Yes.
lifestyle. So
Yes.
yeah.
40% have advanced degrees. That's a statistic. I'm so happy that you're here for so many reasons, but this is like a niche, like a special group of people who we don't think about some of the unique, challenges in a way that you go through, like you said, moving 11 times in 18 years. And it has nothing to do with about, you not wanting to be with the company or being flaky or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
It's just what you have to do.
And I used to be embarrassed by this. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's illegal to ask, but you look at my resume, I felt like I had to address the situation. But
Mm,
now I see it's a strength, and it shows how adaptable I am. And I can turn
Yes.
that into a positive thing, which is a huge strength to have the growth mindset and be able to, adapt in your job task. And now I know that. But at the time, I was super embarrassed by it.
Wow. I'm so happy that you're in the position that you are and that you basically saw a need and you basically are reaching, your hand out to other women in this community and just saying, I can help you, let's make the most of this situation. And of course, you don't just help military spouses, but since that's your story, obviously you have such a special connection to that community. But one thing that I also know about you is that you're very passionate and committed about like educating the marketplace, especially obviously in the online space, that a VA, and that means a virtual assistant, is not just a VA. So tell me a little bit about a unicorn VA. What is that? What is that to you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought this up. I think a lot of us, we hear virtual assistant and we don't always have the best picture in our head. And I'm going to call it
Yeah.
as it is, but
Yeah.
it's such an umbrella term. It can mean so many things to people. And
Yes.
I know that the VA world is really a gateway. It's a gateway into
Hmm.
discovering your business, finding what you're good at, discovering your
Yeah.
passions, who you work well with, and all of that. So I have labeled it the unicorn VA because a unicorn VA is someone who brings her past education, job
Yes.
experiences, passion, hobbies, talents. And if you can add digital marketing into that, which
Hmm.
is the hot commodity right now, that's what all the business owners need help with. Bring
Yeah.
your like obvious admin skills, whatever you used to do in an office can be translated in the online space. If you can package all of that, you will be a business owner's ideal hire. You will be able to
Yes.
help them in their business like nobody else.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm trying to kind of revolutionize this, because so many people think admin, they think peon, they think just admin skills.
Yes.
And for years I was a VA. My clients called me a VA. I
Hmm.
never liked it because I was doing so much more than that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're helping clients 6 and 7 figure businesses, and you were a huge part of the reason why they were at those numbers. And so, yeah, that it's like a little kind of personal ding because same thing, me coming from a general VA background and how I started initially online. Yeah, there is kind of like a personal ding that you get when you hear the word just, general VA or whatever.
Yeah, and I can't quite figure out what it is about that, but it's like we're still bringing strategy, we're still bringing critical thinking
Yes.
and problem solving to the table, just because
Yes.
we can also cross task off the list and get stuff done. And
Right.
I don't know, there's that connotation about it. It's just become what the industry calls an independent contractor. When you look at it
Yes.
like that, and the unicorn can kind of take care of a little bit of everything, which is really what business owners need, is that implementer, especially a
Mhm.
solopreneur just starting out. They don't have the budget to go out and hire a 15-person team where
That's
everyone's
right.
specialized in their little zone of genius. No, that
Yes.
first hire needs to be someone who could just get it done and have
Yes.
the brain, the capacity, the knowledge, and the ability to figure things out. So
Yeah.
that's why I like the unicorn VA.
I love that. And one other, and can't let us go through this show without mentioning you offer a service actually where you kind of are like a matchmaker, right? For the students who go through your course. And so someone who's looking for a position like an integrator or an online business manager or whatever, I can go on to your website, like post a job, right? And you kind of do the matchmaking.
Yeah, it's very informal because I
Okay.
find
Yeah.
so many starting business owners like are overthinking this phase. So my plan was to keep it easy, and we
Yeah.
take your job posting, we take the three main areas that you need help with, and then we
Okay.
share it with our work group. And we're not technically matchmaking. Like I don't want to be a headhunter, and I don't want to
Okay. Yeah.
be liable for your decision. But as a business owner, I will give you 3 to 4 candidates who will reach out to
Mm,
you. You can interview them and make a decision. And now there's other
yeah.
ways to hire. And you could go to like a Facebook group with 40,000 other VAs and be slammed and inundated.
Right. Uh-huh.
But this is kind of like an easy way in, and then you'll get that clarity. If you can start working with a unicorn, you can kind of figure out like, what do I really need help with? Who do I need to hire in for specialty, like,
Mhm.
a higher level freelancer from Upwork maybe to do Facebook ads. Like, there's
Yeah.
different areas that you can kind of combine the people on your team. And even if it's just a short time, like one project, one-off
Yes.
project, like you can hire in the specialist, but it's nice to have somebody there who's like your right hand woman, your sidekick to kind of help get everything going. Cause it's a lot when you're your own business owner.
Yes, it is. You do. You wear all of the hats. And so I love how you clarify you're not necessarily a headhunter, but you just kind of wanted to like remove some of the barriers
Yeah.
of accessing, help. And
Yes.
so I love that so much. Okay. One thing that I think is really important for you to share with listeners is some of the challenges like new and maybe even experienced VAs come to you with, whether maybe it's a strategy session or maybe they're just taking the course or however they decide to work with you. What are some themes that you see?
Oh my gosh, I know you've already covered this in one of your episodes, but that shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, that mindset shift is probably the most difficult thing to get over, because even
Yeah.
as a VA, even though you're called a VA, you're a
Hmm.
business owner
That's
and you
right.
get to choose your clients. You get to
Yes.
decide what kind of work you do. And that doesn't mean any client can be your boss. I
That's
mean,
right.
the IRS tells you you can't do that. There's a difference between
Yes.
a contractor and an employee. And
Yes.
when you're owning your own business, you get to you incur that profit or loss, right?
Hmm.
You have to
Hmm.
pay extra taxes. You also should be getting paid more
That's
because you
right.
have more expenses you're incurring. There are
Right.
benefits to being an employee, and the business owner is actually saving money by using you as an
Yes, they
independent
are.
contractor.
Yep.
So that switch is so hard. And I know you go more into that, but I find that so hard at all levels, new and more experienced freelancers.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you hit on that because it does it, especially if someone has come from just traditional job settings or corporate America or whatever you want to call it for like a couple decades, like that's ingrained in us how that process works, right? And it's sometimes difficult to make that shift, but the quicker you're willing to be aware that it needs to happen, and it's ultimately going to really allow your business to just kind of release those shackles and really be free and you as the business owner really have the freedom and fun in your business of starting a business. You don't want to like own a job, you know?
No, no.
Yeah. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that. Okay. What are some of the top services that you see, just the virtual assistant industry, because we do talk about how it really is an umbrella, right? What are
Yeah.
some of like the top services that you think are in demand right now?
Well, I see a lot of job opportunities, as you know, like people
Yeah.
are applying through my
Yeah.
website and we share. And it's really that hybrid of a couple different things. Like I said, the business
Mhm.
owner's trying to get a couple different hats. But where I see business owners struggling the most is to show up consistently online. And
Mm.
so if you can help and
Yes.
understand online marketing and help with that content marketing, that
Mhm.
is a key service to offer, whether that's helping with email, uh,
Yeah.
weekly blogs or podcast, and
Yes.
also social media. I'm going to tuck social media under there because every single business owner is being told, show up daily, show up weekly, like,
Yes.
put yourself out there. And you can
Mhm.
get stuck in the weeds doing that for yourself. So if you can
Mhm.
hire somebody who understands the algorithms, who can help you get
Yeah.
discovered and kind of take what you've already done, that signature piece of content, maybe it's a Facebook Live you did in your group for that week, and be able to
Mhm.
repurpose that across these different channels. I think that is like probably the number one service business owners are trying to pull out of anything in the backstage of their business so they can show up on the
Yes.
front stage. So if you can help with
I like that.
Facebook groups,
Yeah.
letting people in, moderating, especially during a launch. Facebook group management is very important. Inboxes. We can
Mhm.
get into a little bit of the admin stuff here. If you can help your business owner create SOPs
Yes.
and that standard operating procedures, that way
Mhm.
everything's systematic and you can repeat it, just helping them get organized. And like I said, this is such like a cross of services,
It
right? Like it
really is.
takes somebody who has a big brain who can do a little bit of the right side, a little bit of the left side.
I like that. Big brain VAs.
Yeah, there
I
you go.
like that.
That should have been my business
That
company
should have
name.
been your business name. I love that so much. Okay, good. That's really good for listeners to know, just kind of going into the market space. So if you
Yeah.
have those skills, yeah, make sure that you're putting yourself out there and getting connected and getting support, so that way your business dreams can be achieved. Okay, so before I leave, I want to I or before we close the show, I want to make sure that listeners know how to connect with you, and any like kind of words of wisdom you like to leave with, and please also share how they can connect with you.
Okay, so if you're a business owner and you're looking to hire your first hire, your implementer, go to hireaunicorn.com and you'll be able to do
Mhm.
that form and I'll share it with my work groups. And if you're somebody who's like, oh, I could use some extra money, like it sounds like this is work I would love. I actually have
Yeah,
a free training program and it's got like fun little techie tricks and stuff. And if you go
nice.
to emilyreaganpr.com/training, then you
Okay,
can sign up for that video series and we go over lots of fun things you would do behind the scenes. Like I think it's fun. Like I like this
nice.
type of work and I
Yes.
share some techie tools and Chrome extensions and whatnot. And that'll kind of wet your whistle and tell you like, oh, I think I could do this unicorn thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's really good. I'm glad that you kind of give them almost like a little dry run before they kind of get
Yes.
into, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so if you're listening and you're thinking about, you're curious at all, or something that we said in this show just kind of sparked your curiosity, make sure that you access that training. And whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, in the show notes, I'll make sure that I have all of that information linked. So, Emily, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. And I do want to leave with my like word of wisdom for everybody.
Yes.
This online space, it's so big and so vast. If you can link with somebody, if you can
Mhm.
find a peer group who's doing the same thing you're doing, if you can find a mentor ahead of you who has done
Yes.
it, that's going to help you fast track so much better. I mean, I spent 7, 8 years on my own figuring it out, not knowing there
Oh,
was this formula. Like I would have just been so much further along had I known about this when I first started this type of work. And so I really encourage you to find your community, find
yeah.
positive people who are like minded, who will encourage you because it's not easy. We have our ups and
Right.
downs.
Yes.
We have
Mhm.
issues with clients, we have
Mm.
questions, like we
Yeah.
have moral dilemmas and
Right.
ethical questions, and sometimes we just need to vent.
Yes.
Sometimes we need advice, especially when it comes to raising prices, like all those scary things. So
Yes.
find your people. And that was probably my best tip for anybody out there in this online space.
Oh, you couldn't have said it any better. Like it's especially how you share, you spent so much time doing it alone, because I resonate with that as well. Lost tons of time, tons of money doing things all by
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
Yeah. And so thank you so much for sharing that. All right, everyone. So that is it for this episode. And remember, if you are curious about checking us out on video, you can always access the YouTube channel. It's just Christal Allen, youtube.com/Christal Allen. But thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And you know that I love, love, love when you take a moment to review and leave a rating on the podcast. I so value that. And I read every single word. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And remember, you got this. Bye.